Today we've put together a fantastic Turkish breakfast with a number of Turkish breakfast dishes that, well, are quite different. And I'm going to start with one of these Simit bagels. You want one, Salma?
So what even is Simit? Well, it's a circular shaped bread that is made using 2 or more braids of dough shaped into a ring. It's really popular in most former Ottoman countries, and even in Egypt Simit is a breakfast staple. Though it might look like a bagel, they're really quite different, and is characteristically coated in a layer of sesame seeds which give the bread a distinct texture and aroma. Here in London you can find fresh Simit at some Turkish stores, but it's generally poor quality. Luckily I found this bag of frozen Simit at the back of the store's freezer, and this brand is actually pretty good. All I needed to do was to reheat the frozen Simit for a few minutes in the oven, and it came out almost freshly baked. They are a must-try bread, so if you want a recipe, let me know in the comments.
Alright, so our first dish today is a tomato salad with Nigella seeds and olive oil.
We got this tomato salad and most of these recipes from Rafika's Kitchen on YouTube. She's one of Turkey's biggest food channels and can be considered the go-to source on Turkish home cooking. This tomato salad is her way of showing off peak season tomatoes, and it really lets their flavour shine. Start off with about 3 tomatoes, which should be of a vine ripened variety so they have loads of flavour. They need to be chopped to medium large chunks, and that will give us loads of great texture when we're eating them. Once you've chopped them about this big, place them into a bowl, then break out some fresh thyme. You only need about 3 sprigs of this, and you need to pull the leaves off of the stems. After that you'll add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then mix that into the tomatoes to get them macerating. You'll then add about 1 teaspoon of Nigella seeds, which will give the tomatoes a very distinct flavour. And then to bring it all together, add about 3 tablespoons of high quality olive oil and give it one more mix. This needs to rest for at least half an hour, and you'll be left with this fresh tomato salad, which pairs perfectly with white cheese.
I'm going to try it out with some of this Simit. Oh, it's so fresh tasting, so good. Really like that.
Next we have these Turkish style olives, which are marinated with a bunch of herbs and some pul biber and a bit of olive oil and some lemon.
You might not think that olives need marinating, and you're technically right, but it sure adds another element to regular olives. You can get marinated olives at any Turkish or Middle Eastern grocery store, but it's always nice to add your own flair. These Turkish green and black olives that I got from the store are already cured and softened, but they don't have a marinade. To personalise them, I added 250 grams of them to a bowl, then I added a teaspoon of Turkish oregano. I followed that up with a teaspoon of pul biber, which is also known as Turkish chili flakes or Aleppo pepper. To give some fresh acidity to the olives, I also added the juice of half of a lemon, and to round it out, I added a couple tablespoons of olive oil. That just needs a nice and thorough mix, and all of those flavours are going to really enhance the olives. Let these marinate for as long as you want, and they'll continue to develop flavour over the next couple of days.
Funny as those taste like the ones that we get from the supermarket, the already marinated ones, but this is better. So I think next up we're going to dig into these Turkish eggs called Menemen. Now unfortunately it has cooled, so the texture isn't going to be right for us, but I think you get the idea.
Here's what Menemen should look like when it's hot. You'll have a really soft mixture of cooked down tomatoes mixed with some egg and then melted cheese. Before I tried this I thought it would have a gritty texture, but it actually has a texture closer to fluffy scrambled eggs. I found loads of variations on Menemen online, so we might do a dedicated recipe in the future to explore them. In the meantime, you can make this by taking a mild green chilli or a mild bell pepper and cutting it into small rings like this. Take 3 vine ripened tomatoes and then peel off their skins by blanching them or using a knife like I am. Once you've peeled your tomatoes and there is no skin left, chop them up into medium sized cubes. The smaller you cut the tomatoes, the quicker they'll cook, but also they'll develop less flavour. I got this traditional Turkish copper pan to make this, but any non-stick pan works as well. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan and then melt it completely until it's really starting to bubble. Add in the green chilies and saute them for about 1.5 minutes over medium heat. Once they've softened, add your tomatoes, then add half a teaspoon of salt. Mix that all well, then cover the pan with a lid and let it cook for about 10 to 20 minutes. At this point we'll add in some Turkish garlic sausage called Sucuk or any other cured meat to give the menemen extra flavour. Peel off the casing, then slice the sausage in half and cut your meat into smaller manageable chunks. You also need to shred some cheese, and we chose to use kashkaval, which has a nice cheesy flavour, but you should use something a bit more stretchy if you prefer. Once your tomatoes have cooked down and softened like this, go in with a potato masher and crush all of the tomatoes so you're left with a sauce like this. Cook that down a bit until there isn't much water left, then add the sliced sausage and follow that up with about half a cup of the shredded cheese. Mix them into the sauce and then let them cook on medium-low heat for about 5 minutes. Once you have a sauce that looks like this, which can be parted with a spoon, you're ready to add your eggs. I've chosen to scramble 2 eggs before adding them, but I've also seen people adding them whole or scrambling them in the pan. Mix the eggs into the tomato for a few seconds so they're well combined, then allow it to cook until the eggs have almost fully cooked. At this point you can add a topping of more shredded cheese and then sprinkle on some Turkish chili flakes. Let the cheese steam and melt for a minute and then the menemen is done. This is a dish that is best eaten while hot, but it will still taste pretty good a while later.
It's a shame that it's cooled, but I think we'll still get the idea.
That is very good.
That's very nice. You can see why this deserves a whole separate video. Alright, so this Borek is a cheats Borek for breakfast. It's kind of a quick one. I don't know whether this is an actual thing, this method of Borek. However, we have done authentic Borek 2 different ways on the channel before. So you could always make the other ones instead of this one.
The reason these Borek are so good for breakfast is that they're really quick to make in comparison to the other styles of Borek. They're also more approachable because they're made with phyllo pastry rather than yufka, which you can find worldwide. To make them, you place toppings on phyllo pastry, fold it into a square and then fry it in a pan until golden. Again, we got this recipe from Rafika and we went with her suggestions of fillings. For the first ones we took half an onion and chopped it into a small dice, then we added it into a bowl and macerated it with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We also chopped a green chilli into a small dice and sliced the tomato into thin slices. For meat we decided to use pastırma, which is a spice cured beef eaten all over the Middle East. That was sliced up into thin strips and then we also prepped some cheeses. The first cheese was a stretchy braided cheese, which I later realised tasted just like the string cheese we all grew up with. The second cheese was kashkaval, which we briefly spoke about earlier. We shredded quite a bit of it for these Borek. The final cheese was white cheese, which is kinda like feta cheese, except it's a bit creamier and less crumbly. It's a nice and salty cheese sold all over the Middle East and Turkey. To make the Borek, take 2 sheets of phyllo pastry and lay them on top of each other. It's completely normal if they tear, just overlap the torn area over the sheet below. Now cut off about 1/3 of the sheets, which will leave you with a square shaped pastry, then place the offcut across the centre of the square. Now you can build the filling of the Borek. For the meat ones we added the kashkaval cheese, some of the pastırma, a few slices of tomato and then a little bit of green chilli. That also got a fresh grind of salt and pepper, and then I folded the 2 sides on either side of the strip towards the centre. Next I just folded the remaining 2 edges to leave us with a square shaped Borek. For the other variety we repeated the same phyllo layers, then added plenty of the white cheese, some of the string cheese, a few slices of tomato and a little chilli. Based on Rafika's suggestion we also added a few mint leaves and then a sprinkle of Nigella seeds. To cook these you first need to prep a plate with some kitchen towels, then pour about a 1/4 cup of oil into a pan and heat over medium heat. Once heated you need to lay the Borek in there seam side down and let it fry for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's golden. Once it reaches this colour you need to flip it over and cook for 2 to 3 minutes more. Once yours is cooked, place it onto your plate, and although I burnt this one slightly, the other ones all turned out fine. Like the menemen, this should be eaten soon after cooking so you can enjoy all of the melted cheese. Just tearing into these you can see all of the wonderful layers, and they're really crispy as long as you don't leave them too long.
This one seems perfect for breakfast. I mean, it's so crispy, listen.
And that's been sitting out for a while as well. That's really nice.
I could eat this every day. Oh, that is dangerous.
To eat all this food we served Simit alongside a couple other types of bread. This sesame and Nigella seed coated bread is called Ramazan pidesi, and it's a soft and fluffy bread we made on the channel recently. We also have this thinner bread that you usually get at Turkish restaurants in the UK.
I'm going to grab some of our pide bread. I mean, this is the bread that we made on the channel last weekend and it is amazing. So let's have some white cheese and some of this tomatoes.
I don't know if these are supposed to be eaten together, but they're so good.
Then to complement the other dishes we made a cheese plate with some slices of kashkaval, some white cheese and some stringy Turkish cheese. Then I sliced a few Turkish sausages into rounds and fried those in a pan until crisp on both sides.
I think I'm ready for dessert.
Oh yeah, I am ready too.
For the desserts there were quite a few options. We started with one of the most popular, clotted cream and honey. This exact combination is very popular throughout the whole region and it's one of the richest and most decadent breakfasts you can have. Just make sure to use plenty of good quality honey.
Clotted cream and honey. That's so good.
So good.
Next up is grape molasses and tahini. This is a very common combination in the region, though we'd used different kinds of molasses before. Just add equal parts of each to a small bowl and mix to create an incredible dip.
That I really, really like it with the grape molasses.
And then we come to the Turkish specialty, jams of every flavour. At the store they must have had dozens of different jams. We chose the sour cherry one and also the fig jam. For each of them we just filled a small bowl, and I like that they actually include pieces of fruit in the jams.
I'm excited to try the sour cherry one. There's big chunks
The
in there as well.
sourness hits you later on.
Afterwards,
Yeah.
Alright, and now time for the fig jam.
I think all it needs is some cheese.
Yeah, that one got really good with cheese.
Last of all we made some Turkish tea using this one that is guaranteed to be pretty good. Get it? The name is Garanti? Wherever anyway, it was pretty good, and was spot on with my experiences of Turkish tea.
So that is it for this Turkish breakfast. If you want to see how other countries eat breakfast, click on this video up here.